I was actually approached initially to talk about, presenting in Fort Blogfest. A lot of my friends actually told me about, why don't you talk about how you review gadgets? And I was supposed to do that. But then I realized I've been, we all know that guy that is good with computers. And most of the time, if we have a problem with our PCs, we call that guy. And unfortunately, for a lot of my friends and in my office, I am that guy. And if you're in office without a dedicated IT support, by default, you become the IT guy. And why do I bring this up? It's because a lot of the things that I deal being the IT guy is to fix a lot of the problems, a lot of security problems on PCs. And I'm not a security expert. I just review gadgets for a living, and I write about it on the website. But I actually see a lot of these problems are easily avoidable. And a lot of this can be prevented by having the right know-how. So, in keeping with that theme, I'll be talking about keeping safe in the digital world. So, what do we need to think about when we go online? One thing you need to remember is the importance of digital accounts. Your Facebook account, although it might not seem like it, your Facebook account is as important as your SSS ID. Your primary email account is as important as your birth certificate. Your Twitter account is as important as your driver's license. So basically what I'm saying is that your digital credentials are as important to you as your other credentials. Why is that? That's because your digital accounts define you online. And you know what? Hackers know this. They want your account, and they want it bad, and they're willing to do anything to get it. Why? What do they do with digital accounts once they get it? Most of the time, you might think that if your account is compromised, hackers actually try and log into it and cause chaos. They do that. But most of the time, your account is actually sold in bulk. It's a business. It's a black market business. People actually buy and sell accounts online. So if you have a Facebook account, if you have a Gmail account, you need to listen to this talk because this talk actually relates directly to you. So, in keeping with that theme, you also need to realize that the internet is a big, scary place, and no website is safe from hacking. I will repeat that. No website is safe from hacking. You might think that Google is secure. You might think Microsoft is secure. They are, for the most part. But they are not invulnerable to hacking attacks. And I want to highlight how vulnerable they are and how that relates to you. This is part of a report by Symantec. These are the same people that actually make antivirus software. They say 260,000 identities, meaning accounts, are exposed per data breach. 260,000 accounts. So you are not safe. And to further highlight that, we need to talk about the exposure of big name websites. Sony actually, let me go back to that slide. Sony's PSN network was hacked earlier this year. And hackers managed to get 77 million accounts. 77 million accounts. That means that's almost as much like the population of the Philippines. That's how many identities they got. And that includes usernames, passwords, addresses, and also Sony denies it, but some security experts also say that they also managed to get credit card information. And that's scary, because that means someone on this planet knows as much, sometimes knows where these people live. So that's scary. Also, with the rise of social networks, you need to understand that malware writers love social networks. They absolutely love them. Why? Social networks give them fat, juicy targets that will spread their code for them. If you look at the stats that's online right there, Lady Gaga, she has 12,210,003 followers. Justin Bieber, 11,463,544 followers. So these people are fat, juicy targets for them. And hackers already hacked Lady Gaga's Twitter earlier this year. They managed to get into her Twitter account and use her Twitter account to actually spread spam. So if you think about it, if you're following Lady Gaga and someone managed to actually get into her account and ask you to post, to retweet a link that goes to a malware site, will you do it? Not knowing that it's a link to a malware site. Yes, you would. Because you're following Lady Gaga. You idolize her. You pretty much will do anything she says. So that is the reason why malware writers love social network. So, knowing all of this, what should you do? Well, you need to put this into your mind right now. You always need to think about what reliability is when you go online, use a service, visit a link, or click on a page on someone's wall. You need to limit your liability. What do I mean? Limiting your liability means minimizing the damage hackers might do to your personal accounts if they ever manage to penetrate a website or service that you frequent. On average, people have at least 2 or 3 digital personas, some as many as 10 or more. Some bloggers actually have a lot of digital accounts because that's where they live. Personally, I have 10. I have my Facebook, I have my Gmail, I don't have a Twitter, but I have my Google+, I have my Steam account, which I use to download and buy games. I have an EA account, which I use. I go to forums, different forums, to discuss games and discuss airsoft, because that's what I play. So you need to limit your liability when it comes to visiting those websites. And even though you're using, it doesn't matter what website you're going to. If you're going to your email, if you're going to your Facebook, or if you signed up for your My Little Pony forum, doesn't matter. You need to limit your liability. What do you need to do? First off, it's very, very basic. Never, ever, 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 ever recycle usernames and passwords, especially for important accounts. Don't be lazy. Your password is the key to your account. Protect it with your life. Your password is like the key to your house. You don't leave it lying around. You protect, when you go out of your house and you lock your home, you don't leave your key out for anyone to get it. And this is actually the same thing. And I'll get to the reason why in a minute. So you need to make a password. A good password is a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters. A password with letters is extremely easy to break. It doesn't take more than 3 minutes to break a password that only has letters. And I've seen it been done. Faster, actually. So, with that in mind, you need to make a password with letters and numbers. A password with letters and numbers is infinitely harder to break than just a password with regular letters. A password with special characters is nearly impossible to break. And why is that? Why do you need to create different usernames and passwords for different accounts? Because the first thing that hackers and trolls do when they get their accounts is try to log in with them. I'm going to talk about LulzSec. I don't know if you can see that. LulzSec is a hacking group that emerged earlier this year. So they managed to penetrate a lot of websites, and sorry for the pun, but they managed to penetrate 55 porn sites and get access to 26,000 porn passwords, usernames and passwords. So how does this relate to you? How does a porn website getting hacked relate to you? Well, what they did was they gathered those 26,000 accounts and dumped the data online for anyone to download it. And they asked their Twitter followers, which they have a lot, they said, sign into your try the email and password combo and try to sign in to their Facebook accounts. You know where this is going. Find their family members. Tell them all about how the victims, or in case of whoever is hacking, signed up to porn sites publicly. Watch the hilarity and tell them about it on Twitter. So let me break that down for you. These guys, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with signing up for a porn account. Like, it's whatever you do on your spare time is your thing. The problem is, these guys exposed to contacts, family, friends, the hot girl from admin probably on downstairs. They exposed their porn habit to their Facebook. So everyone knew about it. Their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their friends, their bosses probably, because a lot of us are friends with our boss on Facebook, right? So all of those. And this potential embarrassment could have been avoided if they used a different username and password for that account and for their Facebook account, for their Gmail account, and all of that. And remember when